All right, let's dive into a story that is just epic. We're talking ancient immortals, brilliant kingdom builders, a mysterious heir who seems to come from nowhere, and an entire empire teetering on the brink of a war it has no idea is coming. Welcome to the Chronicle of Drakor. So to get a handle on this world, you have to start with a number that's kind of hard to even wrap your head around. 54,000 years. Just let that sink in. That's how old the most ancient, most powerful, and frankly, most mysterious figure in this entire story is. And here's the riddle that defines him. This being, Drakor, he's not some god sitting on a cloud somewhere. No, he walks among mortals. He could be anyone, a farmer, a general, the person you've just passed on the street. He's this constant, hidden force in a world where everyone else's lives are just a blink of an eye. Okay, so let's get the lay of the land. You really have to think of this world as being split in two. You've got two completely different realms running on two completely different kinds of power. To the north, you have the world of the immortals. And to the south, that's where the rest of us live. And the difference between these two places, it's night and day. Up north, in Erodard, it's all about mythic mountains and the ancient, patient power of Drakor. But you cross the great river south, and boom, you're in the known world. An empire buzzing with politics, armies, and money. One place is timeless stone. The other is a whirlwind of human activity. So let's zoom in on that human whirlwind for a second, because this is where all the political drama really kicks off. And it starts with one man who was handed a legacy of failure and just refused to accept it, a guy named Weazenwolf. I mean, this guy's career path was absolutely meteoric. At 28, he gets handed this dinky little fiefdom that's drowning in debt. Most people would have just given up. But Wizen? No way. He builds, he makes an incredibly smart marriage, he plays the game of imperial politics like a grand master, and out of all that chaos, he forges a brand new kingdom, Thalandor. But you gotta understand, he absolutely did not do this alone. If Weezin was the ambition and the sword of this new kingdom, his wife, Lady Saphis, was 100% the intelligence and the quill. While he was out there fighting battles and making alliances, she was at home building the entire government, the laws, the whole foundation of the kingdom. They were a true power couple, equal partners in every sense. So, what happens next? The torch is passed to the next generation, Weezin's son Aldrich and his daughter with the Empress, Valeria. Under their watch, the empire would hit its absolute peak, but man, it came at a staggering cost. You can really split their reign in two. On one hand, you had Empress Valeria creating this incredible trade network that made the empire richer than it had ever been, a true golden age. But on the other hand, you had a brutal 14-year-long rebellion, a disastrous expedition that got over 100 men killed, and all these strange, unresolved mysteries that apparently haunted old Wezin to his dying day. And it's right into this messy world of prosperity and paranoia that our real main character shows up. A young woman who is about to change everything, and whose entire existence is basically one giant question mark. Her name is Abigail. Now, officially, the story is that she's a distant cousin, the adopted heir to the kingdom of Thalandor. Everyone loves her. Simple enough, right? But the real story, well, the real story is something else entirely. Because here's the truth. Abigail has zero noble blood. She was found, as a baby, in a weird metal basket right by the Great River, the border to Drakor's lands. Everything about her was strange. The metal of the basket, the cloth she was wrapped in, it was all alien. And only two people knew this secret. A mysterious origin is one thing, but her abilities? This is where her story goes from strange to completely unbelievable. Get this, she starts studying military tactics, and within a month, she's beating famous generals in war games. Then she picks up swords and spears, and in 3 months, she's mastered 4 different styles and is beating every knight in the kingdom. Then things get really weird. She realizes she can understand what birds are saying, and then, here's the absolute kicker. She finds that weird metal basket she was found in, and it has this strange, calming effect on her mind. The exact same effect a piece of mysterious metal has on the immortal Drakor. The link is right there. It's undeniable. And just as all this internal mystery is brewing, a huge new threat appears from outside. It's a threat that's about to prove to the Empire that their known world is actually a lot smaller than they thought. It starts small. Just some raids from the west by a group called the Barbads. They're coming from lands everyone assumed were just empty wilderness. But after years of fighting, the Empire finally sends scouts over the mountains, and what they find out there is terrifying. Turns out the Barbads aren't just raiders. They're the forward scouts for a gigantic, undiscovered empire from across the sea, the Cabalroth Dominion. An empire so big it makes theirs look like a backwater province. And suddenly, they aren't the center of the universe anymore. They're a target.
And the description of the guy in charge of this new empire? It is just bone-chilling. They say he is nor man nor beast. A ruler so scary his own top commander is afraid to even say his full name. Sound familiar? Yeah, it sounds a whole lot like the legends they tell about Drakor himself.
And so, this is it. This is the moment where all these different stories, the ancient myths, the family politics, the mystery girl, the foreign threat, they all stop being separate things and start crashing into each other. The board is set. So let's look at the pieces. First, you have this strange metal, this impossible substance that connects the 54,000-year-old immortal in the north with the teenage girl from nowhere in the south. Then you have this unnatural family pattern. For centuries, the Wolf family has had only one son per generation. Is that just a crazy coincidence, or is something else going on? And don't forget the white lion, a creature straight out of mythology that just appears and is now totally devoted to Abigail. And finally, the two big players. You now have two seemingly immortal kings on opposite sides of the map. The ancient, watchful Drakor in the north, and this new, aggressive and terrifying king from across the western sea. So you've got an immortal god king in the north, a massive, unknown empire about to invade from the west, and right in the dead center of it all is this one girl with impossible powers who might be the key to everything. The question now isn't if these forces are going to collide. It's what's going to happen when they finally do.